What is up, everybody? I hope you're all doing well. Today we are checking out the Crazy Tube Circuits CROSSFIRE. This pedal is based on a really popular pedal and amp combination that we've all known and loved. The amp being a blackface style amplifier, the pedal being our favorite green overdrive with the mid bump. So on the left side of the pedal, you have essentially what would be considered the amp side of the pedal. It's really designed, the circuit was designed to emulate the old blackface Fenders, and it sounds really great. On the right side of the pedal, that's more of your favorite green overdrive pedal, but with some kind of cool modern tweaks that we will get to in the demo. So straight across the board, well, actually, let's look at the left side of the pedal. So it's the amp side of the pedal. So you've got volume, you've got gain, treble, mid, and bass, just like a Fender preamp would be. You have a headroom switch. We'll get into how that sounds in the demo from high to low. And you also have a bright switch, which would be typical on those amplifiers. We'll get into how that sounds in the demo. That's the amp side of the pedal. On the other side of the pedal is the overdrive side of the pedal, and you've got volume, gain, and tone, which we've all come to know from that style of pedal. But there are some new kind of modern tweaks that were added to it that just kind of broaden the scope of the pedal. So there's a switch, clipping switch, that allows you to go from asymmetric to symmetric clipping. We'll get into how that sounds in the demo. And then there's also a more switch for the amount of gain. So if you put it in the more position, you get more gain. Both switches on this are soft switches. The two sides can be turned on and off separately. Now, there is another really cool feature on this pedal that I'm actually not going to demo, but I think it's a great idea. It has an effects send and return. So basically, you can insert your favorite pedal between the overdrive side and the amp side if you so desire. So that's a really cool idea, and I'm sure it works great. But I'm going to just focus on just demoing the pedal because there's quite a bit going on here. So yeah, without further ado, let's check out the Crazy Tube Circuits CROSSFIRE. Okay, let's check out the CROSSFIRE. Here's just the guitar into the amp for reference. So I've got the amp dialed really unadorned. And it will not break up. So let's start with, let's start with the amp side of the CROSSFIRE. Okay, cool. I just kind of rambled along for a second so you guys could hear what it was doing. For me, I feel like it does really capture that kind of blackface Fender vibe, especially going from really, really unadorned to, you know, what I would consider the blackface thing. So there's a few different ways to use it. The way I used it, like right now I've got it dialed more clean for that type of deal. The way I used it was I had more gain. I had that bright switch on. The bright switch I would say is a little more subtle than I remember it being on blackface Fenders, but it still does exactly what it's supposed to do. And for the most part, you know, I would shut the black, you know, the bright switch off on a blackface if I was using an overdrive into it. But if I was using the amp by itself, I'd always keep it on because it just sounded so brilliant. But anyways, that tone, I used the bright switch on, I used more treble, had the bass down. And I thought that sounded really cool. I was on the neck position, sorry. That's pretty close. I think I might have had it dialed a little brighter. It does overdrive the amp nicely, because I mean we're hitting the amp pretty hard now. If I turn this down, the volume, we're not hitting the amp as hard. I think it does maybe create, I mean, I don't know for sure, but it seems like it creates a little bit of internal overdrive when I dial it this way. So we'll go treble off, treble all the way up. Pretty Fendery circuit, maybe just a little bit chimier. Mids all the way off, mids all the way up. They do what I recall those circuits doing. There's more mids, it's a fatter mid, but it also creates gain, which is what I would expect for a circuit that's somewhat correct. You know, that's what they were going for, was to capture that circuit. And then bass, of course, all the way up, all the way off. So a little bit goes a long way, especially with blackface Fender bass circuit. Now this high-low headroom switch is pretty subtle, really. In the low setting, it does feel a little bit kind of more compressed. In the high setting, more open, doesn't break up as quick, but it is subtle, but I do like that it's there. It just depends on how you want to use the pedal. And then of course we've covered the bright switch. And then the gain range, you know, go from really clean and then with the gain all the way up. It's pretty nice sounding breakup. I do apologize for the single coil hum. It's just nature of the beast when I'm using straight out single coils and facing a computer screen, all that fun stuff. But it never stopped Jimmy, didn't stop Stevie. Okay, so that's that side of the pedal. So for now, I'll shut that off and we'll look at the overdrive side of the pedal, which is based on, you know, a very popular pedal. There's a couple of little tweaks on it. So I just turned it on. I'm just going to kind of dial as I go. That's what I'm after. Okay, so just messing around with it. Let me go for reference. So right now I've got it dialed kind of stingy. I want more gain. I've got the tone up quite a bit. We can turn the tone down, especially for back, like bridge pickups. Tone all the way up. Like it about right there. Gain wise, I'm gonna, you know what, let me leave this at noon. I had it in what would be considered the more gain setting on the switch. Just throw that switch down. Back up. So if I put it in the down position, the gain range goes from super clean, here's all the way up. If you want to get even more, you can hit the more switch. I personally like the more switch when this is being used by itself because it actually adds a little bit of a kind of top end. That's just to my ears. Okay, and the volume, obviously we're above unity quite a bit. And that's how most guys ran these pedals. They'd be pretty hot. We do have two different types of clipping. Right now we're in what's called symmetrical clipping, which I prefer with this. Here's asymmetrical. A little bit smoother. Maybe a little more saturated sounding. Back to symmetrical. Yeah, for me, I like symmetrical, but that's to each his own, and it's great that it's there if you want like a smoother kind of tone. Use the symmetrical. Okay, so last but not least, I think the way, at least for me, I liked the pedal using it as if this was my setup. You know, obviously it needs to be run into an amplifier, but using it as, you know, overdrive and amp. So let's go back really quick. Now I've got this dialed. Got it breaking up just a little bit. Bright switch is off. Maybe turn down the treble just a skosh. I'm going to bring the mids up. And now let's dial in a tone from this side of the pedal. I'm going to start with the gain in the low setting. So now that we're hitting a slightly broken up amp section, we don't need nearly as much gain if I'm using, as I would have if I was using this pedal, the drive side of the pedal by itself. The only thing I would want to do is maybe switch to symmetrical clipping. To me, there's kind of a throatiness there. Cool. So that is the Crazy Tube Circuits Crossfire. If you've got any more questions about it, definitely go to the website and check it out. And as always, I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you next time.